Hi, I'm Gabriel and this is Learning English Path. And in this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to build good rapport in English. What is rapport? Rapport, and by the way, the T on the end of the word is silent, okay? You don't need to say T. It's not report, okay? Rapport is the relationship that you have with someone, usually established through the communication that you have with them. So if you feel like after you meet someone that you really like them and you get on well with them, that means that you have good rapport with them. But if you've met someone and you didn't really get on, you had a bad experience with them, you probably don't have very good rapport, okay? So, how do you build good rapport with someone? This can be valuable when you are in business, for sure, right? When you want to meet a new client, you want to meet a new customer, you want to meet a new colleague, you want to make a good impression in an interview, you want to do business with another business, and you are looking to make a deal, right? You want to have good rapport. You want to establish a good relationship. It could also be good if you are a student. You want to have a good rapport with your teacher, or with making new friends. If you go to a party and you want to speak in English, to make new friends in English, you want to be good, skilled at developing rapport, developing a good connection with that person, right? So how do you do that? The first tip I have for you, probably the same in your own language as well, is just to listen to them. Actually listen to what they say. So when they're talking, you don't want to be waiting for your turn to speak, right? Which is what a lot of people do, isn't it? You want to listen to what they say so that when it is your turn to speak, you are mindful about the right thing to say. You know what to say. You know how to respond because you understand what they've said. Now, if you say, I'm not a good listener when I'm listening in English, like people speak too quickly, then it's actually better for you to tell that to the person who's talking and say, could you please repeat that? Or please slow down a little bit because I'm trying to understand you, but my listening isn't so good right now as an English learner. They will appreciate that because they will appreciate that you're actually making an effort to listen and understand what they're saying. It'll make them feel more important. Okay? So listen to what they say. It's so important in any language. Number 2 is ask questions. Ask more questions so that they elaborate on what they're saying, because it shows that you are engaged. It shows that you are interested in them, interested in what they have to say. And the more you can get them to talk about themselves and for you to listen to them, the more that they will feel like, oh yeah, this person's really interested. This person is like me, right? At the end of the day, people like people who are like themselves, right? If you think about who you have good connections with, there are people who are similar to you in some way, right? There are people who agree with you in some way, or there are people who share something with you in some way, right? They people like people who are like themselves. And if you like to listen to people, right? If you show that you're listening to someone and you can get someone to continue talking, then they will be happy, and then they will come to the conclusion that you like what they're saying, and that you share a lot of things in common. The next one is very important. Use the person's name. So for that, you need to know what their name is, all right? So ask them their name and make sure that you use their name. People like it when someone says their name to them in a conversation. It makes them feel acknowledged. It makes them feel important in the conversation. All right. And if you can find a way to use it as a tag, right, on the end of a sentence or at the beginning of the sentence is even better. If you can say, if your name is David, I would say, David, I really like what you're saying, right? It's better than just, I really like what you're saying. If you can say, I really like what you're saying, but it's even more powerful to say, David, I really like what you're saying. It's one of those things. The next one. Focus on the similarities that you share with them. Try to avoid the differences. Try to avoid talking about the differences between your cultures, right? Try to avoid talking about the differences between what you like and what you don't like. Try to avoid talking about differences and focus more on similarities. Because, again, that golden rule, people like people who are like themselves, right? It's true the world over. And the next one is compliment them. So you can say, David, you have an excellent accent, right? You have an amazing voice, or you have incredible ideas, or you are an incredible speaker. Or if you know them in some other way, like they've written a book, I don't know. You can say, you're an incredible writer. Your book was amazing. I really loved the way you did blah, 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 right? And you can compliment people on their clothes and things like that. But what I'm really talking about, rather than these slightly more surface level things like fashion, like their clothes, their fashion sense and their appearance. I mean, pretty much everyone does that, but I'm talking about something that will make them feel like you understand them on a deeper level. You want to compliment that part of them to build rapport. The next one is actually not to do with the English language, but to do with your body language. Body language is so important when you're trying to build rapport with someone. All right. So there's something in NLP called matching and mirroring. All right. So you want to basically mirror the other person. Imagine that you are a mirror. But don't be like creepy about it. Don't be super obvious. So if they scratch their head, don't be like, and okay, you don't want to be really, really obvious. You want to be subtle, be gentle about it. So do it in a way that you're not making it a comic act. You're not being a clown, right? But you'll be surprised at how people don't really pick up on the fact that you're doing that. that they don't pick up that you are mirroring them. But I promise you, if they have their body language like this, and they have their legs crossed, and you're sitting down, if you do the same, then they probably won't think to themselves, "Oh, you are trying to mirror me." No, they will see that you are similar to them, and people like people who are like themselves, right? If they then change their body language and they fold their arms like this and look and go forward like this, then you can just do the same a couple of seconds later and do the same thing. They won't consider it to be rude or anything. They won't even consider it, probably. They will just assume that you are very similar to them. And the last one is very important. I wanted to include this so that you don't take this as some kind of way of being manipulative. Okay, a very important rule that you always must keep in mind is to still have honesty and integrity and authenticity. All right, so be authentic. Don't lie about yourself in order to make them like you, because that will not make them like you. First of all, they won't be liking the real you, right? They're liking a fake person that you're creating. If you're lying, you can focus on similarities and be authentic at the same time, okay? Because we're all choosing our focus all the time anyway. All right? It's not inauthentic to focus on the similarities. But it is inauthentic and dishonest to pretend to be someone that you're not just to get someone to like you. All right? And people can pick up on that, right? People will be able to pick up on it when you are putting on a mask and being fake. So you do not want to do that. You want to be authentic, and people will respect that. Even if you say to them, "Oh, actually, I disagree with that." All right? You might think that, you should never disagree if you're trying to build rapport. But no, it's better to disagree and to show someone that you're honest, but be respectful about it and continue to focus on the similarities and just politely, respectfully disagree about something in an authentic way. That will develop a much better relationship with someone than if you were to try to be deceptive and lie about it. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And make sure you click that bell so that you know when I publish a new free lesson here on YouTube. And if you want to learn English with songs, then don't forget to click the link in the description to get my free PDF guide to 101 songs to learn English. I have hundreds of exercises for you to study English, English grammar, English vocabulary, English idioms, practice your English listening, and even your speaking while listening to the very best songs to study English with. All right. And when you get it, then you also get my weekly email with 5 words of the week, where I teach you another 5 words every single week so that you continue to take your English language learning to that next level. All right, my friend, I'm Gabriel Wallace. Keep learning and keep going.